Every year, around 250,000 people go missing worldwide. Some of the missing are victims of violence or crime. Some manage to return, while others disappear without a trace and remain on the list of missing persons forever. This story is based on my experience of meeting a bad person. Be careful, take care of yourself. The story happened to me last fall, and I still can't get it out of my head. No matter what I do, whether I take a break from work, start daydreaming, or simply lie down to sleep, the same memories come rushing back. I often wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, quietly crying. Then, in the morning, I pretend everything is fine and go about my day as if nothing happened. But I can't keep living like this, bottling it all up inside. I just need to let it out, release all the negative energy, and hopefully forget it like a bad dream. Maybe that'll help. I really hope so. It all started when my friend convinced me to sign up on a dating site. She was tired of hearing me complain about being alone and not being able to find love. And honestly, I could see her point. With a Monday to Friday job and only 2 days off, Saturday and Sunday, I mostly just wanted to stay home, binge watch documentaries about serial killers, and rest before the next work week started. Week after week, month after month, it was the same cycle. Eventually, I gave in. Being alone had worn me out, and the idea of finding someone special, well, who wouldn't want that? So I created a profile where people could see what I looked like, my age, hobbies, and so on. I can't say I was thrilled about it, but soon I started getting a lot of attention. Messages, likes, invitations to go out. It was a lot. But most of the guys weren't interested in anything serious, and at 28, that was a deal breaker for me. So I politely declined many of them and didn't rush into meeting anyone in person. That is, until he appeared. A brown-eyed brunette, about 6 feet tall, athletic build, with thick eyebrows and a bit of stubble. He was slightly younger than me, but that didn't bother me at all. He was polite, well-mannered, and easy to talk to, qualities most others seriously lacked. For the first time, I thought, yes, I could actually go on a date with this guy. Even my friend was floored when she saw his pictures. Her jaw practically hit the floor. That definitely gave him bonus points. So I decided not to wait around and messaged him first. Hello. You are quite attractive, and I see you are involved in sports, which is commendable.
Hello, my beauty cannot compare to yours, but thank you for the compliment anyway. Yes, I love sports. Physical activity helps me relax and feel confident.
I used to love running in the evenings, but now I don't have time for it. I have too much work. I don't know why you need this information, but here it is.
No, don't be silly. I love getting to know people. Every person has a unique lifestyle and way of thinking, their own principles, interests, and desires. So feel free to tell me about yourself. I won't be offended.
Yes, just a moment, please. I am currently occupied with work. It was Friday evening, the end of the work week. In about 20-30 minutes, I would be heading home. Therefore, I decided to relax a bit and check my phone. And then this handsome individual appeared. And somehow it just happened. Of course, my boss saw what I was doing and immediately gave me a bunch of extra tasks. But that didn't stop us from continuing our conversation. He's annoying. I'm going home in 20 minutes, and he's still not done. Remind me, where did we leave off?
No need to apologize. I understand. I have one question for you. Have you ever tried fried shrimp with garlic in soy sauce? There's a place in the city center that serves it. I'd like to invite you there. We can get to know each other better at the same time. How does that sound?
Well, I don't mind, actually. But maybe we should get to know each other better here on the internet first. What if you're some kind of maniac? You'll take me to the woods, and then they'll be looking for me in body bags.
Well, that's a bit primitive, don't you think? There are lots of other interesting things you could do with such an attractive, lonely girl like you.
Oh, really? Well, go ahead. I'm all ears.
Probably not. I'll tell you everything when we meet. Don't get me wrong, I just want more face-to-face communication. After all, that's the only way to really get to know someone.
I agree. Okay, you've convinced me, but only on one condition. If it's not you in the photos, I'm leaving immediately. You can't lure me with shrimp.
Well, that's perfectly acceptable. I agree. Are you free after work today?
Yes, I'm free until 5 p.m. and I can be in the city center by 8 p.m. I know the place you're talking about. Is it called Black Oyster? My friend kept trying to drag me there.
Yes, that's it. Then it's settled. Will you need to call a taxi?
No, I'm driving. Let's meet at the entrance at 8 p.m. Just don't be late, okay? I can't stand waiting for people.
Don't worry. I like punctual people too. See you soon.
I spent the remaining hours before my much-anticipated date getting myself ready. After a full day of work, not to mention an entire week, I definitely didn't look my best. But there was no way I was going to show up looking anything less than amazing, especially for such a charming guy. So, I got to work on my appearance. I finished with about 40 minutes to spare before I had to leave the house. And there I was, all dolled up, makeup on point, heading off to meet what I hoped would be my destiny. I felt a little nervous and kept thinking, God, please don't let me screw this up. I actually arrived at the restaurant in the city center earlier than we'd agreed. But I stayed in the car. Part of me was still wondering if the guy might not look anything like his photos. You get the idea. I thought I was prepared for anything. But when this jerk didn't show up at 8:00 or 8:10 or even by 8:30, I started to get seriously pissed off. At first, I held out hope that maybe he'd just gone in ahead of me and was waiting at a table. But the staff at the entrance shot that theory down real quick. No one matching his description had walked in, and there was no reservation under his name. Can you imagine? I'd put in all that time and energy to look good, driving from the suburbs all the way into the city after work, only to be stood up like some fool. Of course, I started messaging this supposed Don Juan, asking where he was and why he couldn't at least tell me the date was off. But a surprise, no response. He just straight up ignored me, like some sulky little boy upset over not getting ice cream. By the time I got back home, I felt like a steamroller had flattened me, emotionally wrecked. I'd never been stood up like that before, and it hurt more than I expected. I didn't feel like doing anything. The whole drive home, I kept checking my phone, hoping for some kind of message, some explanation, but the screen remained stubbornly empty. Eventually, I just decided to let it go. A jerk is a jerk, no matter where he's from. Let life deal with him. Now, I should mention, I live in my own house out on the edge of town. Around here, it's considered the suburbs. No loud neighbors, no constant drilling from upstairs, no wild parties, just peace and quiet. Exactly what I'd been craving after years in an apartment building. I pulled into my driveway right at 9 p.m. The sky was already pitch black. First thing I did was head to the kitchen and grab the bottle of wine I'd been saving for Friday night. But the moment I popped it open and poured myself a glass, I got a notification from that very same dating app. Guess who was deeply sorry?
I know you won't forgive me, but you looked so stunning that I didn't have the courage to approach you.
What are you doing? Were you there the whole time, just watching me?
Yes, by the way, your hairstyle is awesome. It suits you very well.
In his last message, the guy attached a photo of me standing outside a restaurant, clearly annoyed, scanning the faces of passers-by. The picture was surprisingly clear, though it was obvious it had been taken from a distance, discreetly enough that I hadn't noticed. Naturally, I blocked him immediately. I didn't even bother telling him everything I thought of him, although I really wanted to. But my peace of mind was more important. Besides, I was looking forward to a perfect evening at home. Cozy atmosphere, a glass of wine, good food, and some YouTube. As for creeps like him, they can go straight to hell. I really wish that's how the day ended. But things took a different turn. About 20 minutes after I blocked him, I suddenly got a message on Facebook from an unknown number.
Hello, why aren't you responding to me?
At first, I thought it was one of my friends writing from another account. I even had a guess as to who it might be. Hi, Raf, is that you? Do you have a new phone number now?
No, it's not Raf. I'm just a rejected fan you banned. Already forgotten, huh?
Well, come on. How did you find out my Facebook? I didn't give you my number.
Why are you surprised? From just one photo of a person, you can find not only their social media page, but also other useful information. Surname, first name, middle name, date of birth, address, phone number. If you dig deep enough...
Wait. What? Passport details? Address? Do you know where I live?
Yes, now I know. By the way, nice house. Are the neighbors noisy?
And then it hit me like a bucket of cold water. This stranger no longer seemed like a simple weirdo who fiercely scowls at other people's photos. Rather, he looked like a professional stalker. But I didn't want to believe it until the very end. Was that some kind of threat? Or what? No, well, you can try to hurt me and all that, but the consequences for you will be dire. Believe me.
Yes? So what are you going to do?
Well, let's start with the fact that I can call the cops, show them our correspondence, and then file a report. But, judging by how brave you are on the internet, but afraid to even approach a girl on the street, I think it will be enough to call a friend of mine. He will help you learn good manners.
Well, if you have a friend like that, then it's serious. Is he your boyfriend by any chance? What if we say something we shouldn't?
At that moment, I lost my nerve. I blocked that bastard again, and then started closing my profiles on all social networks so that I wouldn't see any more messages from him. It helped a little. The lack of notifications began to calm me down. However, it was very difficult to fully recover. I couldn't get the thought out of my head that somewhere out there in the dark, there was a psychopath who could be standing at my window right now, watching my every move. It was eating me up inside, so much so that I couldn't take it anymore and called my best friend, Raphael. He was the only one who could support me in a difficult moment, who would come to the ends of the earth just to help me. Hello, Raph. Hi. Listen, are you busy right now?
Hello, no, I'm not busy. Has something happened?
Well, to make a long story short, I got involved with some jerk, and now he won't leave me alone. He knows where I live and everything. Damn, you could come stay with me, but I don't want to call the cops.
Of course I can. We live 10 minutes away from each other. Listen, is he healthy? Maybe I'll ask my friends?
No, Raph, don't bother. The poor guy was even afraid to approach me on the street. You'll knock him out with one left hook.
Okay, no questions then. I'll be there in 20 minutes.
My friend really did come over as he promised. I was deeply grateful. His presence helped calm me down, eased my paranoia, and reminded me that my home is my fortress. As long as I'm inside, I have nothing to fear. We spent the rest of the evening sitting in the kitchen, chatting about all sorts of things, laughing and joking around. I got so caught up in our conversation that I didn't even notice how late it had gotten. It was time to start winding down for bed so I wouldn't mess up my sleep schedule. I set up a place for Raphael to sleep on the couch in the living room downstairs, and then went up to my room. I'm used to taking long baths before bed. It's not just about hygiene for me. It's a way to relax after a stressful day. I run a hot bath, add bubbles and salts, lie back, and unwind, just like in a spa. There are 2 bathrooms in the house, so we didn't get in each other's way. I was upstairs and didn't bother Raphael as he got ready downstairs. Before going to bed, I decided to tidy up a bit and check on things, and also wish Raphael a good night. But when I came downstairs and looked into the living room, I was surprised to find it empty. Raph, where are you? Raph? There was no reply. It felt like someone was playing a prank on me. He used to love doing that kind of stuff back when we were kids, always hiding in closets and jumping out to scare me. Seriously? That's not funny. Do you want me to have a panic attack or what? Come on, stop messing around. Right as I said that, I got a text from Raphael.
Find me.
Yes, I understand. Games at 3 in the morning. God forbid you jump out from around the corner. I swear, I'll kill you. No, first I'll die myself, and then I'll come to you as a ghost and strangle you in your sleep.
It's coming. I'll tell you hot or cold. Try to find it faster. I have a surprise for you.
Of course, midnight games again. Figures. Not like I have anything better to do. I sighed and started wandering around the first floor, peeking into every corner in search of my crazy friend. Hey, what are you doing here? This is my space. Your couch is downstairs. Go back there." I stepped into my bedroom and tried to turn on the light. Nothing happened. That's when I started feeling uneasy. "Hot? Huh. You do remember our deal, right? No sudden scares. I've used up my scare quota back in kindergarten." The room was mostly empty, just a few pieces of furniture. A large wardrobe stood right in the center, facing my bed. That's where I decided to look first. I was ready for anything, or so I thought. As soon as I opened the wooden doors, Raphael's battered body tumbled out. He was still breathing, barely. His mouth was taped shut, and when I ripped off the tape, he whispered,
Run.
In that very instant, panic took over me. I frantically looked around, my mind racing with 100 thoughts. One thought stood out above the rest. If my friend had been stabbed, tied up, and locked in a closet, then who had been texting me from his phone? The answer came quickly. As I stood up and took a few steps back, a faint creak came from behind me. The floorboards. That was the last thing I saw. When I turned around, there it was. A man in a leather mask. His black eyes cut straight into my soul. Then, everything went black. I woke up in a completely unfamiliar place. It looked like some kind of underground room, maybe a cellar or bunker. No windows, no visible door. The only source of light was a dim bulb hanging from the ceiling by a thin wire. It barely lit the space, but enough for me to get a sense of where I was. I had been kidnapped. It was that same charming guy from the dating site. He never intended to meet me for a real date. He just wanted to find out where I lived. After that, he followed his own terrifying plan. Raph was dying. He had lost too much blood from the stab wounds. As for me, the man had simply pressed a cloth to my face, something soaked with chemicals, to make me pass out quietly. He clearly had different plans for me. Now I can talk about it calmly, without crying. But back then, sitting in that rusty cage in a basement, I screamed until I lost my voice. I sobbed, begged, hoping someone would hear me. And eventually, someone did.
Hey girl, don't make any noise. He might be somewhere nearby.
A young woman's voice was heard from the far corner of the room. Who is it? Who's there?
I'm Hannah. What's your name?
Emily. I began to peer in the direction from which the voice was coming. The light did not reach that corner, but even in the darkness, I could make out the outline of a cage exactly like mine.
Emily, Listen to me carefully. We don't have much time. Before you, there was another girl sitting with me in your cage. She tried to unscrew the loose bolts on the side with her hands. She struggled for about a week, but she never managed to do it. A couple of days ago, he took her away to an unknown destination. I haven't seen her since.
So, do you think he killed her?
Most likely, yes, but that's not the point right now. Your cage is broken, you know. You can get out of it while he's not here. Try kicking the side panel. You can do it.
The news gave me a small lift. Success seemed unlikely, but attempting something was still worthwhile. I leaned my back against one wall and pressed hard with my feet against another. It wasn't sturdy, no bolts held it together. Before long, I succeeded in pushing out the rotting grill. A curtain lay behind it. Initially, it felt like just another storeroom. However, stepping into the dimly lit interior and switching on the lights revealed a scene so terrifying that I nearly cried out in horror. The air was saturated with blood. An aura of death permeated everything, though there weren't any obvious traces of decomposing bodies. A metal bed with springs sat in the middle, its mattress smeared with red stains. Next to it stood a tripod, probably meant for a video camera. There was no sign of the actual recording device. Likely, the perpetrator carried it off somewhere else, perhaps editing disturbing footage for his intended viewers later. Without finding the keys, I went back to the chamber housing Hannah and moved closer to her enclosure. "Look," I said, "I can't find those keys anywhere. You're certain they're here?" My train of thought was cut short when I noticed her more clearly. Once my eyes adapted to the gloom, Hannah's shape emerged distinctly. She lacked facial features, literally. It was as if she'd been beaten with a hammer and splashed with acid afterward. Her nose was seared beyond recognition. Her eyes protruded grotesquely, about to pop out. All that remained intact were her lower jaw and tongue, leading me to mistakenly assume earlier that I'd spoken to a regular-looking individual.
It's terrible, yes. That creature tortured me, on camera. Tortured me for a long time and painfully. I actually ran away from him once. But I wasn't smart enough to hide far away. I thought the police and the loud commotion would scare him off. But that wasn't the case. First he buried me alive, and then he came back to finish what he started.
Hannah paused briefly. She was clearly uncomfortable with what she was about to say.
But that was fate. You know what, my friend? Don't wait for me. Get out of here before he comes back. I'll try to buy you some time. I don't care anymore. I can't live with a face like this. I'd rather hang myself than suffer for the rest of my life, looking at myself in the mirror and remembering all this horror. Run. Run and don't come back, you hear me? Come on, go.
I did exactly as I was told. Even though my conscience screamed at me to go back and help that poor girl, logic told me otherwise. There was no time to waste. Without the keys or the right tools, there was no way to open the cage Hannah was trapped in. She tried to unscrew the bolts herself, but they were sealed tight. It seemed like fate had already made its choice. We had been kept in a basement. There was a wooden hatch in the ceiling and a ladder fixed to the wall. I climbed up and managed to get out. Outside, I found myself in a small clearing surrounded by dense forest. Not far off stood a wooden cabin. It didn't take a genius to figure out who it belonged to. I had a bad feeling it wouldn't stay quiet for long. And I was right. Just as I covered the hatch with dirt and stepped back toward the forest, I heard the distant sound of an engine. I hid quickly among the trees and bushes. Before long, an old pickup truck appeared and pulled up to the cabin. A tall, solidly built man stepped out. He wore a black hoodie, with a hood pulled over a cap and sunglasses hid his face. From that distance, it was impossible to see him clearly. As he walked toward the porch, he suddenly stopped and looked toward the hatch. Maybe I hadn't hidden it well enough, or maybe the bastard just had a sixth sense for trouble. Whatever it was, his calm demeanor vanished in an instant. He sprinted to the hatch, and that's when I realized I had to run. If I stayed, I wouldn't survive. I ran into the forest, blindly hoping I'd make it out. Somehow I did. After wandering for what felt like forever, I stumbled onto a highway. A driver saw me, dirty, exhausted, terrified, and stopped to help. I called the police right away. They located the clearing, the cabin, and the basement. But by then, the place was up in flames. That monster had burned it all down. The pickup truck was also destroyed in the fire. Turns out, it had been reported stolen. The man must have had another vehicle hidden somewhere deeper in the woods. As for Hannah, she was gone. He must have gotten her out of the cage and taken her with him. No one's seen her since. She's still listed as missing. She was only 27. The man was put on the wanted list, but there wasn't enough to go on. He disappeared like a ghost. They still haven't caught him. Since then, I moved far away and cut off all ties, deleted every social media account, stopped using my real name. I'm doing everything I can to stay hidden. I'm not making the same mistake Hannah did. I won't let him find me.